Okay, so now we're gonna see what I did for the diffuse. So my layout just changed a bit just for the record. So now we have our node graph here and our node properties that are on the left side. Otherwise, all the rest remain the same. So here is the beginning of my laser diffuse. So in order to see the node, we're gonna select the node and press 1, and directly in the viewport the view is gonna be updated and we're gonna see what we are currently looking. So here that's just a node color with a brown color, as you can see here. And the first thing I like to do is just to create a cloud. So for that we just have to press tab and write cloud. So this will create the node here. This one is the same as this one. So we're gonna just create a cloud, and inside the cloud here you have few parameters. So you have the size that will change the size of your cloud, and then the roughness. So if you add some roughness, you will see that your noise is gonna become noisy. So I wanna avoid this, so we're gonna keep the value of 0. And then with the cloud I'm gonna just create a new merge here. So to create a merge, you just have to press M inside the node graph here, and you will have the merge create for you. So this node here is just a merge. So when I double click on it, you can see in the node properties here that's a merge that I called base color. So as we saw before, you just have to select the node, press N, and then you can rename it. So base color, press enter, and the node is renamed. So here, base color, the cloud. So I will multiply the cloud with the color, so I will leave it as normal and see the results. So that's the result. So for now this is very subtle detail, like subtle color, just to begin with. So after that we have two tileable texture. So in this tile texture here, I'm gonna press 1 to see the texture. So we can see that this is just a map with some variation, some details, and as we have exactly the same UVs for the left one here for the laser, so we're working on the laser. So maybe I should, okay, so here I select the select tool, right click, patch mode here, then I select this patch here, this one, and I do Control 1 to isolate my selection. So now I only have the laser pieces selected and visible in my viewport. So go back with the paint tool, and here, as I said, we have exactly the same UVs for the left one and the right one. So that's why I create two tile texture, just because in the first one, so I choose my texture. So I think this is the texture that I choose here. So you just have to drag and drop from here to here, and then I repeat it just once, and then the second one is exactly the same node. I just change the U offset. So here is the first tileable texture, and here is the second, and as you can see on the feedback, the position is different. So this will avoid the exact same repetition that we have here, for example. And then I just combine the two, and we have one side different than the other one. So here we have a node called mask udim and connected into that merge. So when you create a merge, you can see that you have a base, you have the over, and then you have a mask. So everything that you connect into the mask will allow you to show or not to show the texture that you have connected in the over. So for example, here I have my first tileable texture, the second one, but I wanted only this tile texture visible on the right one. So if I show my mask, you can see that here it's white and here it's black. Everything white will be visible. So in order to create this mask, I just press tab, write udim, and you have here udim mask. This is a pretty easy node to understand. So if you double click, you can see here that you just have, I'm gonna show it, you just have to select the udim that you wanna show. So here it's 1011 and here 1012. So I choose 1012 for this one. As you can see here, 1012 or 1012. And then I combine the two texture and we have different texture on the left one and the right one. So then this, I will combine it with my base color that we have here. So I will select my merge, press 1. So all the nodes in blue are merged, and this allows you to combine all of the texture you want. And then that's exactly the same than Photoshop. You just double click and here you can change the mode like overlay, multiply, lighten screen, blah blah blah. So I create that merge to combine this texture here and the base color that we had here. So here's the result. So as you can see now, we have some detail on our laser and some color variation that we created before. So I call this detail coverage. So just remind to rename all of your nodes, and this will help you in the future if you need a quick retake or anything. So after that, I just created another cloud with bigger variation and a bit more strong. So I called color variation, and so as you can see here, we have some dark value visible here. So double click on the merge, I set it on multiply, and if I disable it, as you can see, we have some dark variation now. Then we can see the same setup than here. So just two tileable texture, and this one, there are the laser texture. So the laser texture is just a texture that I found on internet and that I tiled myself. So in order to have a different one on the left one and the right one, so I have the first one, the second one, and I mask it with the same mask than before, so the mask udim. So that's the power of the node graph. As you can see here, with one mask you can impact multiple different merge, and then you can go from these dots here and then go on this one, for example, and connect it. So that's the power. You can reuse all of the nodes that you created before. So we were here. So this is our laser texture. Here, as you can see, we have the radio transmitter. As you can see, the radio transmitter will store the texture somewhere. So then, in the future, I can call this texture pretty quickly, just creating a node called radio node here. Double click on it, right click, connect with transmitter, and then as you can see here, we have all the texture that I stored. So here we have the laser texture, so this is the one. I just double click on it, and now this node will take the same name than this one, and if I press 1, these texture are exactly the same texture than here. So that's pretty useful to keep your node graph pretty clean. So that's why after this node here, I create the radio transmitter. So after that I create a luminosity node that will convert our texture in black and white. Then on level, and with this I will merge it in overlay. So here's the result. So this will add the laser texture. So that looks already pretty cool. And then I will use the luminosity that I will grade. So I use the histogram select. So just to create a mask. So histogram select is a node here that gives you a different range into your, from your texture. So if you select it and then you just play with the position here, as you can see you have different value coming. So you can play with the range, with the position, and then with the contrast. So you can create pretty cool mask pretty quickly using the histogram select. So here we have the histogram select that I graded like this, and this then I will use it into the mask here with an HSV. So the HSV is just a hue saturation value node. So if I double click, you can see that I change the color a bit and I reduce the value to 0.8. So here's the merge with our texture. Then here's the impact of the HSV, so a bit red. And then with the mask, this is the result that we have. So as you can see now we have some color variation into the laser. So let's just select that merge here and reduce the amount. And as you can see, this is very subtle, but this will help to break the texture. Then I will continue. So don't worry about those lines coming from the right to the left. We will see later why. So here is a new merge, laser texture. So where I combine the color variation with the texture of the laser, and here's the result. Let's continue. So here we have the two tileable texture with a merge. So this texture are just the same laser texture than before that I graded previously before the tutorial. And then the same mask UDIM. So this is a radio node. So the radio node is just a node that will translate the information without any connection. As you can see here, the mask UDIM is connected to that merge, but also to this one. But because I didn't want a line coming from here until here, I just create a radio node here. Whoop. Let's just go here. In the input, I put the mask UDIM, right click, miss toggle radio node. Now the node take the same name than this one with the same information. So if I show the mask UDIM, we will have the same information than here, but we don't have any connection. So that's pretty cool as well to keep your node graph pretty clean. So here is my radio node. So just to have not the same tileable texture on each piece of laser. Then I grade the mask, and here, as you can see, we have the same setup than here. So it's just I take this color here, I apply an HSV into it, I merge it using that mask, and here is the result. So now I had a bit more of brighter variation. So if I double click on the merge, change the amount, as you can see now, we can see here pretty easily that we are adding some variation apply the variation into our laser, and this will reveal the grain of our laser. So let's continue. After that, I just wanted to paint some details. So for that, I just create a paint node. So for that, just click into your node graph, press P. Then you have the paint node. Here I set it as 4K 16-bit. And here in scalar data, it's for black and white value, or if you have color value, you have to uncheck it. And then here in color, as you can see, we have the top left white and the bottom right transparent. So this means here I have no alpha into my paint node, and this will allow me just to add it into a new merge without any information inside. So if you create, for example, a paint node here, and you put your alpha on, you can create like a paint node with white color, black color, or if you wanna gray, yellow color, press OK. OK, and here, as you can see, we have our white color. Here we have transparency. So as I want to paint something, I decide to create a transparent node. And here is my painting. So this is pretty simple painting, just to add some details. And then I mask it with the laser texture. Oops. So here's the result. So this is very pretty subtle, but let's double click on it. And as you can see, this is very pretty subtle variation. Let's continue with the imperfection. So what are the imperfection? The imperfection, this is just so a tileable texture. So this texture here that I put in black and white, I add a level node here to grade it, because I wanted to keep all of these little scratches and dots. Then here we have a radio node that is calling our ambient occlusion, as you can see, AO. So that's why at the beginning we set up our AO and curvature like this. So we have our ambient occlusion, curvature connected to a radio transmitter here. So now we can call our AO or curvature from anywhere in the graph pretty quickly just using a radio node. So here is my ambient occlusion. So as you can see, this is my occlusion here, and then I just multiply it with a cloud connected into that merge here. So this is a mask. So this is a mask inside a mask here. So let's just turn it off and let's see this mask. So here we have this information here, and because I don't want it everywhere, I mask it with the other one. And here we're gonna remove some information from the occlusion, and the cloud will help us to show the texture not everywhere on the model, but only on the white area. So here the white area are gonna be visible and the black one are gonna be not visible. And this, I'm gonna use it as a mask here with an HSV. So here is the HSV, and here are the scratches. So let's see if we, oops. Okay, this is still very subtle. This is very subtle variation. Okay, so then what do we have? So we have the radio node here that call our curvature, as you can see, inside an histogram select, so the node that we saw before, a level, an invert, so this is the result, so pretty dark result, and then we have an histogram scan. So this histogram scan here will allow me to apply this texture into those values here. So here is the texture that I want to use, and here is the value that I give, and if we combine together we're going to have that mask here. So as you can see, we can feel that on the edge that's more obvious than the rest. That's because on my level here I push a bit more the white value, and this I'm gonna use it as a mask with an HSV still, and let's see the result. Okay, so still very subtle result, but this will add some extra variation on it. So here is our texture for the laser. So this is the one we're gonna keep, and we will continue after that with the metal. So here is the view, the full view of the laser. So this is our graph here with the laser color. So in order to create that brown square around our node graph, you just have to select the nodes that you wanna underline, select the nodes, press tab, write backdrop here, and then it will create that colored square. And then you can rename it here, double click, rename it, call it as you want, mask, then change the color here, gray, like this for example, and now we're happy and we have a backdrop on our scene. So this is pretty cool if you wanna have like a scene that everyone can understand. So as you can see, if I open a project and I see that like laser here, metal, brass, mask brass, and blah blah blah, I know what I'm watching and I know what I have to do. If the client or anyone is asking for some retakes or feedback, I just have to go on the laser and say, okay, we don't need the scratch, so I'm gonna select that node, turns off the scratch, and here we go. So at the end here, as you can see, we have like a red node. So this is a bake point. So the bake point will allow you to store everything that is upper this node into just one node. So it's a bit like a cache. I mean, it's a cache. So if you double click on it, so when you create it, the bake point is a node, like a paint node here, where you so where you give the resolution that you want, the depth, and then the color space, still not in Scala. So you press OK, and here is your bake point. Then you connect it to your last node, double click on it, okay. So double click on it here, and then you can bake your texture, and we will see what it's gonna do. So press bake. So as you can see now, the node is green, so that means the bake point is done, and then this node contains all the texture that you have upper this node. So in this one here we have all of the laser texture, so it's much more faster in the viewport. So now we don't have any lag or anything, and you can see your texture pretty quickly, and that's pretty cool as well. So this is done. We are done with the laser texture. And then let's see here, first I create color node, as you can see. So now we can see the full object. So that's just a color node as a base, and then we have our laser texture on the right. We have our breakpoint, and this is connected to a merge here, and then here we have a mask, and this mask will separate the laser from the rest. So as you can see, only the white is going to be visible, so that means only the laser will be applied only on this part. So let's see the texture, and now we have our texture on the laser. So let's continue with the metal on the next video.